The second reason. 2. The injustice towards Kashmiri Hindus. Terrorists are targeting Hindus settled in Kashmir, but not the Hindus visiting Kashmir. Tourist footfall in Kashmir this past year has been the highest ever since records began, a staggering 16 million. Business is booming. Registers are ringing. Tourists are safe. They want the Hindus to flee, but then return later as tourists. They want the Hindus to come as tourists and fill their coffers, but not settle in their own land. As Kashmiri Hindu and activist Sushil Pandit, himself a victim of ethnic cleansing, says, and I quote, "Tourism in Kashmir funds jihad. The Hindus are funding their own demise." Unquote. How on earth can we watch this unfold and not do anything about it? What kind of a country is this where one can settle 40,000 Rohingya Muslims in Jammu and Kashmir but not 7 lakh Kashmiri Hindus? There is no other way of saying it. We live in a nation of broken mirrors where you possess neither a shadow nor a reflection if you're a Kashmiri Hindu. We live in a nation that waits for death to rid us of our remembrances. We tell Kashmiri Hindus, please wait a little more, just a little more. 30 years have gone, but we haven't progressed from ugly, inhospitable transit camps that dot the Kashmir landscape at Sheikhpura, Natnusa, Veerwan, Vesu, Matan, Hall. In Anantnag's Vesu transit camp, Kashmiri Hindus who want to flee because they fear for their lives are being kept locked up under constant guard. They can't even step outside to buy essentials like milk and medicines. Is this the kind of freedom promised to the land's original inhabitants? While the Rohingyas enjoy unfettered movement in the near vicinity. According to the Home Ministry data, only 17% of the promised houses for Kashmiri Hindus have been completed in the last 6 years. Only 5,928 Kashmiri Hindus have been appointed through the Prime Minister's job scheme. The number of Kashmiri Hindu refugees is 700,000. A figure derived from the data provided by the government of Jammu Kashmir that says 83,216 families fled Kashmir in the aftermath of the Kashmiri Hindu genocide. 700,000 and 5,928. I shall leave it to the mathematicians among you to subtract this number from 700,000. To an extent, the Kashmir Files, the recent film by Vivek Agnihotri, has tried to reset the Kashmiri Hindu narrative, and that is why so many are rattled by it. Many prominent Kashmiri voices, the politicians, the intellectuals, writers, poets, all those who stayed silent even as the Kashmiri Hindu genocide unfolded right before their eyes, they called for a ban on the film. To them I ask, can there be reconciliation without remembrance? Crime without comeuppance? Can there be death without deliverance? Can there be justice without Nuremberg? Why do they want to hide the truth about the Nadimak massacre that the film truthfully depicts, where terrorist Zia Mustafa lined up 23 unsuspecting Kashmiri Hindus and shot them point blank? And as he was escaping, he heard a baby cry, and his comrade goaded, "Ye karnuwa chupe." And then the baby became the 24th victim. Why do they want to hide this? Why do they want to hide the truth about Girija Tiku, who was raped and cleaved in two by a mechanical saw while she was still alive? Why do they want to hide the truth about B.K. Ganju, who hid inside a rice barrel when jihadis came looking for him, after his Muslim neighbor informed on him? Ganju was shot dead. Rice laced with his blood was fed to his wife. Why do they want to hide the truth about slogans raised from mosques on 19th January 1990, Raliv, Saliv, Galiv, convert, run or die, death to kafirs, Pandits go but leave your women behind, Nizam-e-Mustafa? Why do they want to hide all this? And what is this other side of the genocide that they demand should also be shown? That Yasin Malik, assassin of Squadron Little Khanna, loved dum aloo? That Bitta Karate killer of 42 Kashmiri Hindus was the son of a shawl weaver? That Zia Mustafa, perpetrator of the Nazi Mark massacre, was a compounder at a hospital? I will tell you why they want to hide this truth to be hidden. because they realize that the Kashmir Files is not just a film. It is a Proustian collection of memories of Girija, of Ganju, of Dinanath, of tens of thousands of Kashmiri Hindus who were betrayed by their own friends. They might have taken away from the Kashmiri Hindus their home, but they can never take away from them their words. For their entrapment in a film may fool us into believing they have a physical form, a form that can be destroyed when the film is destroyed. But the words existed much before their prisons did. Words never die, never. They always survive. In times of terror, we wrap them and we hide them, like our ancestors did. And it may take 30 years or 300 or 3,000 for them to be uttered again, but uttered again they will be. And when they are, their words will echo in the valleys of violence where people only know how to light Molotovs. And these words will make them light diyas again. To be sure, I do not care about Islamists and jihadis and the politicians forgetting about those words. What bothers me immensely is that our government, our judiciary, our society has forgotten them. How can these pillars of our democracy forget those cries of Girija, those laments of Dinanath? How? Hearing them, those words, those haunting voices, one feels lost for hope, wondering whether that fabled arc of moral universe would ever bend towards justice for the Kashmiri Hindus. Remember that 3 years ago, the Supreme Court diabolically rejected reopening cases of criminal atrocities against Kashmiri Hindus because, quote, too much time had elapsed. That's correct. Justice is now weighed against time. A month ago, the same Supreme Court reiterated its previous stand, that of not opening cases of atrocities against Kashmiri Hindus. Governments come and go and we shout and we make 100 excuses, but we can't get away from the fact that Kashmiri Hindus are in exile. As Salman Rushdie expressed so poignantly in his satanic verses, and I quote, "An exile is a dream of glorious return. It is an endless paradox, looking forward but always looking back. An exile is a ball hurled high into the air. He hangs there, frozen in time, translated into a photograph, denied motion, suspended impossibly above this native earth. He waits the inevitable moment at which the photograph must begin to move and the earth reclaim its own, but it never does. When will that photograph begin to move? Mind turns numb at the very thought that this nation, we are going about our business for 30 years while 500,000 Hindus have been reduced to refugees in their own land. Is this what a so-called Hindu Rashtra is supposed to do for Hindus? We are the only country in the world that allows this, across parties, across governments, right or left or center. 3 years to 2019, 3,686 law and order incidents occurred in Kashmir. 3 years since 2019, the number is only 430. Terror attacks have reduced by 40% since 2018. But then why is it that only 5,000 Kashmiri Hindus have been brought home? And of those few who have been, more than 25 have already lost their lives. Making Kashmir Files tax-free was a great idea, but remember, your dharma, it is not to make a film tax-free. It is to make sure 7 lakh Kashmiri Hindus are brought home. Time is running out. Time is running out. A refugee accepts his fate and the humiliation that comes along with it. For he must worry about his new life. He forgets how to complain, and that is a fatal mistake. Arundhati Roy, that totem of the left, once cushioned the crimes of the Maoists by calling them Gandhis with guns. Well, Kashmiri Hindus are the Gandhis without guns. And that is the singular reason why no one cares for their plight. Because this nation hears complaints through the barrel of a gun, not the ink of a pen. This nation believes inaction is a medicine. It believes time heals. It believes wounds do not fester. It believes the exile never returns. This nation waits for death to rid its people of their remembrances. This nation wishes the Kashmiri Hindus all happiness and joy in the afterlife. Kashmiri Hindus are the Jews, but unfortunately, India is not Israel. They call Kashmir the Switzerland of the East. Wrong. It is the Srebrenica of the East. And it will remain so till such time every Kashmiri Hindu is returned home.